Okay, so with this question, this is working on Bodmas. Okay, do you remember Bodmas?
Yeah.
What does Bodmas mean? Yeah. Powers, order. Powers. Yeah.
Order, division,
Yeah.
multiplication, addition.
Exactly. So we have to do things in a certain order. So we have to do brackets first. So in the brackets we've got 4 minus 7 is
It's 3.
minus 3. Okay. Now we have to do the powers.
Is
So
squared.
minus 3 squared is
9.
9. Good. Okay. Because it's minus 3 times minus 3. Let's also think about how people make mistakes. What would they have done wrong there?
They would do minus 9.
Right, minus 9, yeah? Can you do that on your calculator for me?
What do you mean?
Right? So on
Minus-
your calculator, I just want to show you something. Right? On your calculator, I'm going to type in this one, negative 9, and I'm going to put the squared button, negative 9 squared, and press enter. Oh, no, you want to do this. This is how you're going to do it. You want to do this. Press enter, and the answer you get is minus 81. Okay? Why does the calculator tell you the wrong answer?
So you didn't.
Exactly. So we have to remember the calculator, if you're going to use your calculator, put negatives in brackets like that, and then you'll get the correct answer. Just be careful. Alright? Value of the square root of 144? Because 12 times itself, or 12 squared, equals 144. Yeah?
I only wrote that on the calculator they gave me.
Yeah. But I'm wondering whether you would even have the calculator.
Yeah, if you didn't have the calculator, I wouldn't.
So that's how we made this one a bit easier. 3 significant figures. Anyone okay with that? Anyone
No.
struggle?
Just struggling.
Struggling with that? Okay, so mistakes are the zeros at the beginning don't count. So with the most significant number is the first one is the 7, then the 2, then the 4. Okay, then we look at the 5 after that. So we've got 3. Does the 5 round the 4 up or not?
Oh, so the zeros don't count?
No.
Oh, I counted with the zeros.
So yeah, exactly, I think a couple of people did. So we've got 0.00, there's no number, there's no value in that yet. So then we have 7, 2, 5, because the 5 rounds the 4 up.
And that's the answer.
That's the answer. So it's just 3 numbers that make the value of the number. Okay?
Wait, wouldn't it be...
Now this would change. If I said 1.007245538, if I put a 1 there, what would that be to 3 significant figures? Not quite. Which is the first significant number? The 1. Now once you've started, you have to carry on. So it would be those 3. So this time the zeros would count. The 7, does it round it up? So it would become 1.01. So see how it changes. So the significant figure is find the first valuable number, the 7, and that's where you start counting. Now, write your answer to part A in standard form. Be careful that you don't go back to this first number, to this number. So I think quite a lot of people remembered the whole, well, it's got to be 7.25. Yeah? Got that bit. And we multiply it by 10 to the power of? Well, it gets minus and the 7, so 7.25. So we've got to move the 7, 1, 2, 3 spaces. So it's minus 3. Okay, so it's like dividing it by 10 3 times. Makes sense now. This one, guys, these things, it's definitely worth you highlighting that sort of stuff. Significant figures and standard form. Do you remember, you've done it with Mr. Jodler, yeah? I'm pretty sure you have. He says you've done that. Okay? That will always be in your exam. Always. Okay? Always be there. That kind of stuff could be, not always, but standard form and significant figures always going to be there. First three multiples of 6. 6.
Oh, I did
12,
12, 18.
18. Ah. The 6 times tables.
Oh.
That's what multiples mean.
Oh, I thought it meant like numbers that differs.
That's the factors.
Oh.
People get confused between multiples and factors. So there's something for you to highlight and say, well, what is it I need to understand? Find the lowest common multiple. Well, if you didn't get the first one, you probably won't get the second one. Lowest common. So if I do 6 and 15, well, we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 15, 30, there you go. There's a common multiple and it's the first one, so it's 30.
Oh, I did 3.
So you've done factor, haven't you? So it's that word that you've got to look up. Is it multiple or is it factor? They're the two ones you've got to make sure. What are the factors of 6? 1, 2, 3, and 6.
And
6.
They go in pairs normally. 1 times 6 makes 6. 2 times 3 makes 6. Okay. This one, I think Eleanor has this page. The rest of you don't. And
Why?
that's the one it didn't photocopy. Raffles in the ticket.
Oh, so that was a question.
That was a question.
Wait,
So,
I didn't get anything written.
eh? No, because some of them. Basically, what seems to have happened is I photocopied, and the first few. I think you got the original, so the first couple of pages were double-sided. It was all single page, and I said, "Oh, just do single page," so it missed the first couple of pages. So it missed the formula booklet. It missed that one question. Well, you didn't even notice. If you'd have come to me and said, "Mr. Potts, I couldn't do this question because the formula booklet wasn't there," then I would have done something about it.
But you weren't there.
No, afterwards you would have come to me and done. But you didn't even know. I asked at the beginning of the lesson. Remember me asking? Because I wanted to know. And you were like, "Oh no, didn't know."
You didn't know it was
Yeah, so we're going through these answers that you need to know. But you can, if that's your choice, go for it. Right, multiply out the brackets. I added stuff in to try and help you. It would just say simplify in the real one. So you need to know to multiply out the brackets. So that's how I tried to make it a bit easier for you. Okay, so multiplying out the brackets, hopefully you ended up with 7x minus 14. Yeah. Minus 9 minus 3x, and then we collect them.
Wait, but
That's 4x and minus 23.
So much working out for nothing.
There's hardly any working out. For
I
2
know,
marks.
I did so much working out though.
That's the answer. So do you think you know that?
I didn't.
So with practice, it'll become easier. I think a lot of people at this stage, what a lot of you do is think it must be harder than it actually is.
Because it's in the exams. It's like you get nervous and you forget most of the stuff.
I appreciate it. I do. The more work that you will definitely get better. You will definitely get better. Right? But I have to say, if you had any intention of being, you need to be able to do that now. You know, for those of you that really want. Now this one, actually, I've said use your results part A. You didn't have to, but I don't know whether you noticed, but that is the same as that. Yeah. So actually, I could do this as 4x minus 23 is less than 1. Right? Remember we did inequalities? You treat it like an equal sign. So first thing we do is add 23, so 4x is less than 24. Then we divide by 4, gives me x is less than 6. And we should just check. So my check, do you remember? So check for a value, x is less than 6, pick one. I remember doing this with you. Check with x equals 5, okay. I would have picked something different, but you can pick 5, absolutely fine. So if I'm right, this should be true. So 4x minus 23 should be less than 1 when x is 5. So 4x is 20, minus 23 is minus 3. Is minus 3 less than 1? Yes, it is. So we know that x must be less than 6.
When we change the last to
Pardon?
when we change the less than, change to greater.
When do you? Well, some people say, oh, if you're doing negatives, I say don't. Leave it as it is right till the end, and then check. Now, if this turns out to be greater than 1, I swap the sign around. Yeah? So x should be greater than 6.
Good.
So if I check, assuming that I've done all the maths correct, if what I get here is wrong, I know the sign must be the other way around. Okay, I think that's an easier way to remember it.
I still didn't get it. Where did you get the 4x?
From here, though.
No.
Well, I said using your answer to part A, so that's my answer to part A, right? And you'll notice that that and that are the same thing.
Yeah.
So instead of using this, which makes it complicated, I put that one instead.
Okay.
Do you understand how we get the 4x here?
Yes.
So I've just replaced with that one. The 1 is still there. Makes it easy for me to solve. That's why they got you to do part A and then do part B. In extended, for instance, they wouldn't give you the part A bit. They'd just give you that. That would be your question. And you'd have to know to multiply out. Yeah? Any questions on that? Okay. Show your answer on a number line. We did this, all these bits of paper lined up. So x is less than 6. We should have an open circle and an arrow going that way.
Oh man. I
You're
knew.
not even going to try and claim that's what I've drawn, are you?
I did
You know,
that.
I think that's when we had all the bits of paper on the table and you weren't that bothered in paying attention or doing it. You stood behind. As I said, you do what you like, but don't expect good responses from me. Okay, let's. This one we didn't get either, did we? No. We'll come back to it because it didn't appear in your test. Right, now we're all right. But you've done mean, median, mode, range, haven't we? You've done that, okay? The modes then.
Wait, how come? The mean is the middle.
Yeah. So what quite often people do is they write them in order straight away. We don't need to for any of these actually, because we're not asked for the median. The median's the middle, and it has to be put in order. The mode is just the number that appears the most. So we can put the most. It sounds like the most. So the one that appears the most is 12.
Yes.
The mean.
What's the mean?
The mean is where you add them all together.
All
Okay.
of them.
Add them up, all of them, and divide by the number of numbers. Okay?
So the mode.
So add them all up, what do we get? Let's split this now. 9. How many, if you add them all up, what do you get? 90. So we end up with 90 divided by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
We
9,
did
10.
that when you were 7.
Yeah. So the answer is 9. The 9 is the mean. You just got to remember, which one's which.
My answer is 3 times.
Not
Yeah.
sure about it. The ranges of subtracting 12,
Yeah.
7.
12. No, see, you just took either end. But this is the maximum, but the range is from maximum to minimum. So the minimum is the 4.
Oh, it was a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, so should be
Oh, okay. So 12 minus 4 makes 8. So that's the range. Well, should I take the positives? You knew what you were doing, and with more practice, you'll get it right. That's what you need to take from it, yeah? Okay. So that was the end
And then
of
we
the
have
paper 1 questions. Right, let's have a look at these two. These didn't appear in your test, but should we have a look at it? Yeah? See whether you would get it. Right,
So
I've said remember how to add normal fractions. What do you need to do when you add normal fractions?
Do you have to find a common denominator?
Yeah, common denominator. So which would be 12 and 12. So how do I get 12 here?
4 times
9
3
Times 3, and this one times
times
4. So I've got to do the same on the top.
4 times 3
So that would
times
be 9x,
4.
and this would be
4.
4x. So the answer would be
12.
12x
I did
over
12.
9 plus 4 is 13x
Yes. And then
over
12.
12. That's your answer. Okay?
We would get extra points for that.
If I put it on the test, it wouldn't be too much. But then your test would have been out of more, so it would have affected your percentage.
Oh yeah, because you took the marks
I
off.
took them all off, yeah. When I realised it wasn't right, I took them off. So, right, what about this one? Again, it's not on your paper, but so we've got the x's. So how do I simplify the x? So 7 and 5, who remembers? X to the power of 2, do you all know why?
Yeah.
No. Don't say yes then. So when it's x to the power of 7 divided by x to the power of 5, we have x to the power of 7 minus 5. Remember why? Because it's 18 times x times x times x times x, so on, all over 6 times x times x times x. So the ones on the bottom cancel with the ones on the top. So what we've got is all these 5 cancel with 5 of the 7. It leaves the 2. Well, what about 18 over 6 though? What does that simplify to? 3. So we would actually have 3x squared. Okay? So not on your test, but good. Okay, let's have a look at the next. So these are the paper 3 questions now.
I got most of it right.
Yeah, I think
Except one
there are
bit.
definitely questions where people were better. Okay. So, got our Venn diagram. Right, got our Venn diagram, and list the students who swim only. So that's this list is.
Seven.
Yeah, I think I've got to do something different. Okay, so list them. It's a bit of vocabulary. List the students who swim only. So A,
And
however you want to write it, N, B, C, L, D, K. List them. Write down. Now people made a mistake. They didn't spot the N. What does the N mean?
no.
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 No, it doesn't mean not touching it. It means the number of elements in.
Yours.
So S intersection T is here, so it's 6. And 2 minutes, what you did was you listed them.
Can I give a
And
Oh.
no, I can't. There's
You're
only one
joking.
mark for it, so I can't give anything. I'm afraid.
300.
There's no half marks. Ever.
What's S intersection?
You should get that right.
include this?
Still don't get it.
S
You should get
intersection T is the bit in both.
Ah, that's the
Yeah.
intersection. Okay.
So I'm right.
Yeah, a couple of you got the right space, but you didn't do the end. But again, if that's the case, you're halfway to getting that mark, aren't you? Next time you'll know it. It's an easy skill to learn. It's not like, oh, how will I ever know that?
But here it says write down.
Yeah, write down it. So it kind of means there is no calculating. It says write down, it means you don't have to calculate anything. You've got to take
only
the
says
clues
write
in the
down.
words. If it says calculate, you know you have to work something out.
Yeah.
It says write down, and it just means write down. It shouldn't need to.
Then you don't know if it's a number or letter.
Well, you do, because N means the number of, so it's
But
going to be a
maybe
number.
that could be from the list. From
Well,
this.
calculate the percentage of the 20 students who do not swim and do not play tennis.
10%.
So it's 2 out of 20, which if you make it a percentage, you have to put it over 100, so it's times by 5, so it's 10 out of 100, which is 10%.
You gave me a mark for that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at D.
2 marks. There's probably a mark for working out there. Has to be correct working, you can't look at just anything. Right, one of the 20 students is chosen at random. Find the probability the student plays tennis but does not swim.
5 over
So
10.
it's out of 20, plays tennis but does not swim. Well,
That's
that
5.
is plays tennis but does not swim.
5 over 20.
No.
Exactly, 5 over 20.
What about the other? What about Q and
They
J?
don't play tennis. Find probably that the student does play tennis, does not swim. That's 5 out of 20.
So it's not.
Leave it. 5 out of 20. For those of you that turn it into a percentage or a decimal, you don't have to. Just leave it as 5 over 20. A student is chosen at random from those who swim. So we're only looking at those who swim.
I thought it was going to
So
fail
how
this.
many, remember we talked about this one, how many swim? So
6.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So,
It's 6 over 13.
so it's out of 13, yeah?
But also.
And it says find part also plays tennis. Well, out of those 13 that swim, 5 play tennis. Yeah? So it's 5 out of 13. Yeah? Again, because there's only 1 mark, quite often there's 2 marks, 1 for the bottom number, 1 for the top. But in this case, there's no mark,
Wait.
just get the bottom number right.
No, it's not 5, it's 6.
5. The student also plays tennis.
You gave me a mark.
Oh, it is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6. Well checked. 6 out of 13. Yeah? Any questions on that? No? Okay. Simultaneous equations.
I didn't do any of that. I failed.
Now I've said here, it says show real working. I've got, if you use your calculator to solve this, show a sketch of the graphs. Now, who thought about using their calculator to do it?
Which one?
Thoughts about it. But I think the method that you've been doing, I need to show, is, well, which method did you try and use? There are two other methods. There was the elimination and there was substitution.
Yes.
Yeah? I think Callista, I'm going to go through your way. You tried the substitution method, didn't you? So, what Callista did, we've got x plus 5y equals 9, and we've got 3x plus 2y equals 1. The substitution method is to rearrange this one and have it as x equals 9 minus 5y. Everyone okay with that? Right? Then substitution comes from the fact that this, because it's the same as x, you put in here. So it becomes 3 times 9 minus 5y plus 2y equals 1. What do we do now?
27 minus
Multiply out, so 27 minus 15y
plus
plus 2y equals 1. 27 minus 13y 1.
Hmm?
Okay with that?
Yeah.
I've collected the
Are you doing 3?
yeah, question 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 13y to both sides to make 27 equals 1 plus 13y. I'm then going to subtract 1 and have 26 equals 13y, which makes y equal to 2. Okay. Follow me through on that?
I have to copy this.
Don't forget it's going to be on the video, so you have to follow it through. Basically, I've inserted this, I've substituted it into that. That's why I've got it here. I've multiplied out the brackets. Right, that's why I've got this bit. I've then collected the like terms. So minus 15y plus 2y minus 13y. Now I'm rearranging. So I've added 13y because I don't want a negative y. Put it on that side. I've then subtracted the 1 from both sides. And then I've divided through by the 13 to make y equals 2. Alright? Then what do we do?
Put the y into x.
So I've got to use y equals 2. So I'm going to, which one do I put it in? Put it in number 1 or number 2, or doesn't it matter?
Number 2.
It actually doesn't matter. But I can put it in number 2. Or I can put it in, I'm going to use number 1 actually because I want to know what 1x is. So I've got x plus 5 times 2. Equals 9. So that's x plus 10 equals 9. For this to happen, subtract 10. I get x equals minus 1.
Oh my god.
You okay with that? Should I go through on the calculator how you would have done it with the calculator?
Yeah.
Have you got the calculators with you to do it with me then?
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about this new course and having the calculators. It gives you a whole new way of doing it. So, actually using the calculator is not so easy in this case, but what I'm going to do is I've got to rearrange them. So x plus 5y equals 9. I remember we did a lot of this, so I've rearranged and I've got y equals 9 minus 5x, sorry, 9 minus x, all divided by 5. Do you remember how to do that? So that's the first one. And the next one, 3x plus 2y equals 1, I rearranged to be y equals 1 minus 3x all divided by 2. Now if you can't remember how to do that, something to look at. And then in my calculator, I'm going to put those in. So the y equals, first one, brackets 9 minus x, okay, all divided by 5. And the second one, I'm going to put brackets 1 minus 3x, all divided by 2. Okay with that? If I then graph it, there's one line, there's the other line. So that's why I was saying have a sketch. So if I were to sketch this, I'd be having my line like this. I'd have a line coming down.
So you do all that working out just to find those things, and then you do that.
Right.
That's such a big working out
Hang
for
on,
this.
don't get too. Right, so I get the 2 lines. Now, if I was doing the lines, I wouldn't have done any of this stuff. Right.
So you just needed to do
I've got
lines.
2. You do it this way, or you do. Sorry, I'll change the colour so you've got. Or I do this method. So this goes with the graphs.
I think I prefer the small one.
Alright? Well, just so, because actually the last questions you need to do this. How do we then solve these values using the graphs?
Oh, you go to the calculator?
And what we're looking at?
We're looking at x first.
And what,
In
it's where they
It's
cross.
this, yeah.
So on your calculator, go to second, calculate, intersect, okay. First curve, yeah, it's on it. Enter again. Guess, yeah, it's close enough. And look, we get x minus 1, y is 2. We get straight there. So remember, that was another way of doing it.
That's minus okay.
So it depends which one you find easy. Now there is even another way to do it, which is instead of using substitution method, use elimination. Okay? So we've got substitution, we've got elimination, which is one we haven't looked at, well not now, or we've got using the graphs. So we've just done, the graphing method was in blue, and we've got one we did with yellow was substitution. So this bit. Yeah. Elimination, you can have a look at how you would have done elimination. And you will. Alright, any questions on that? Definitely one you need to know how to do. Again, I think this bit almost there, weren't you? You found one of them, it was just the second one, wasn't it? Yeah? No? I looked at it, I thought you were very close. Did you figure out where you made the mistake?
Yeah, I lost it at one point.
Not a lot of space, maybe, to work out. But you're close on it. Right, factorising.
Yeah.
Common factors, what's in both?
Oh, good.
A 2 and a pi. A 2 and a pi and an r. So, 2 pi and an r. And what comes out? Well, 2 pi r squared, so 2 pi r times r gives you 2 pi r squared. And 2 pi r times h gives you the 2 pi r h.
Was it that easy?
Right, if you wrote, what
Oh
did you
my
write?
god.
2r. So if we wrote 2r, pi r plus pi h, you left behind. So I gave you 1 mark because it's not factorized completely.
Oh,
You factorized but not completely.
so it's
That's why you got 1 mark. Yeah.
You're joking,
So
Mr.
this
Boss.
is not complete.
I put that into decimals. I went into decimals. I don't know how I got there.
Now, I did say use your answer to part I. Actually, you don't need to, but it helps. Again, part 2 does that. Rearrange to make H. That means make it H equals something. So there's a couple of ways to do it. If I start with S equals, and this is the same as this, so if I write 2 pi r times r plus h, first thing I do is divide by this, so I've got s over 2 pi r equals r plus h. You with me, Joanne? Because it's that times this, so I could leave it in brackets if I want. Now what do I do?
Times the divided by
No.
You do it.
I have to leave h on its own, so I have to.
Minus.
So I've divided by 2 pi r. Yes, Joanne, I'm absolutely right. I have to minus r. So I end up with s over 2 pi r minus r equals h. That was one option. The other way was if you didn't use this part, same thing though, s equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. I could have just subtracted this, so s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi r h. Now what would I have done? We divide by 2 pi r, and it gives me s minus 2 pi r squared all over 2 pi r equals h. So actually, this answer or this answer, they're actually both the same, it's written in a slightly different way. Could have added either one would have done.
So blue or the purple would be
Blue
the
or
same.
the purple, same answer. Yeah. They're equivalent to each other. So whichever method you wanted to use,
I'll use the first
I
one.
would minus 2 pi squared.
I don't know how I got C right. And I only got half a mark.
Well, with this one, there's 2 parts. Now, some of you lost an easy mark. Callista, what's 3 times 2? It's not.
3 times
Yeah, no,
2.
it is 6. It's not what?
It's not fun.
It's not 5. 3 times 2 makes 6. X times x squared is x cubed. And there was 1 mark for each bit.
Oh, it's fine, Coach. I put 36.
The number of people that put 3 times 2 is 5.
I put 36. You quit.
Okay? Alright with that? Quite easy that one. Well, no, definitely not.
Yeah, because it was like almost time. Finish the exam, I was like, let's do a few questions.
So you know what you've got to do in the future? Develop your exam technique, which is as soon as you're allowed to open it, look at all the questions. Just have a quick read through all of them, and then answer the ones you know how to do. Get all those marks done, then go back and do the ones you have to work out a bit more on. And then at least you get the marks done early that you can get easily. Good exam technique. Right, on the grid, plot points 2, 3 and 4, 7. X, Y. So 2, 3 and 4, 7. Who did it the wrong way round? Who did 2, 3 and 4, 7?
Before I did that,
A couple of people got coordinates the wrong round. Draw the straight line, P to R. Okay. Find the
to R.
coordinates of the midpoint. Well, that's the midpoint.
Yeah.
And the coordinates are
M.
3, 5.
Oh, 3, 5.
Not 5, 3.
I put M just for you to see.
That's right. Whatever you like, doesn't hurt. Just checking that you get your coordinates the right way around.
And then I didn't do D. I don't know.
Calculate the gradient of PR. Gradient is rise over run. So that's 4 over 2, which is
2.
4 over 2 equals 2. So the gradient is 2. Gradient of a straight line, we did that in year 9 too.
But like, go up, like on the thing for the graph, I don't understand how you did it. Why rise and then
So
run?
it's the distance. So you've got this point to this point. Yeah, P to R.
And then
So
that's
how far do you go across is the run. Yeah.
yeah.
And how far do you have to go up is the rise.
And
So I
up.
go up
Yeah.
from 3 up to 7. So it's a rise of 4. And the run is from 2 to 4. So a run of 2. So I do rise divided by run. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Alright with that? Now, again, spot the parallel lines. That was my little helping hint. Because here's a parallel line. Here's another parallel line. And that should help you. Angles in parallel lines. We've done that now. Z angles, F angles, that kind of thing.
Is that parallel?
It's not a parallelogram. It's not a parallelogram because these two sides would also be parallel. Yeah? But the name for the quadrilateral it is a trapezium.
Oh. Really?
Pentagons have got 5 sides. Why do you think the big building in America is called the Pentagon? You know, have you ever heard of the Pentagon in America? When the armed forces sit, that's their leading place. The Pentagon, it's got 5 sides. The building looks like it is a pentagon.
But that's the fourth side.
Oh no, that's the bigger one. The Pentagon is where all the war. The White House looks like a big white. What we're doing is that we're going through all the questions. I've recorded them.
But it's the
Yeah.
it's just fourth side. What is that? 5 sides.
Well, exactly. That's why it's not a pentagon.
Ah,
It tells you it's a quadrilateral. So it's a type of quadrilateral. It's not a parallelogram because it has to have all 2 sets of parallel sides. The only one then is a trapezium. Okay. Find angle DEC, and that means go from D, okay, to E to C, means it's this angle. Lines crossing in the middle, angles opposite angles, so it's just 51 degrees. Write it in the diagram. Angle EAB, so E to A to B. It's this one. Now, because of angles in parallel lines, this angle is the same as this one. So it's 82 degrees. Okay? So again, if I put that one in, 82 degrees, it helps me. Find angle AED, so A to E to D. That's this one. Now, how do I know this one?
20
Yeah, it's 180 minus 51 is 129. Do you all know why it's 180 minus? Why, Drum? Stop nodding now, tell me that. Why is it 180?
I got the right answer,
thing
but
Because look,
it's
those two angles
it's
are lying on a
180.
180 degrees. So those
And then-
two on a straight line must add up to 180. Okay?
I got that one right.
And then the size of one interior angle of a regular pentagon. We're back to the pentagon.
I don't.
So this is something that you will have seen in the past. A pentagon. Do you know what the word regular means?
A normal,
Pardon?
like a normal pentagon.
Normal, it's not really the right word. It's regular is when all the sides are the same length and all the angles are the same length. Okay? So that means whatever they all add up to, we can divide that by 5 to find out what one of them is. Well, it's not 360, no.
180.
What we have to remember, again, I know I've done this with my year 8s actually. So you will have seen this hopefully in the past. The interior angles of any shape, what you can do, I think Calista was trying, you split it into triangles. How many triangles have I got?
3.
3. So it's actually 3 lots of 180 degrees. So 3 times 180 is 540 degrees. So we did 540 divided by 5 equals 108. So that's what the answer is, 108 degrees. We'll take another look at that. Circle theorems. We did this one. Angle ABC. A, B, C. Angles in a semicircle. It is 90 degrees. We did that one so often. Yeah? CAD, so this is 90. C to A to D. Well, we know this and tangent, that is also
90.
90 degrees. Not even any calculator needed yet. This is where remember the formulas on the front page. Angle AOB, so that's A to O to B. So that's this angle. Now this is the one we have to calculate. So if I rub out those 3 lines, we're trying to work out that angle. What is the method? Well, we know that this triangle is a what type of triangle?
It's a right angle. Oh no.
It's not right
No.
angle, no.
But both sides are the same.
2 sides the same, so yes.
So 35 and B and 35 are the same.
Exactly. So you said isosceles. No, well done.
So
So that's 35.
So
35 makes
110. No,
70.
70.
And therefore this one has to be 110 because they have to add up to 180. Yeah? So that should be 110 degrees. 180 minus 70. Make sense to you now? Alright? Can you start even remembering all the times we've been through these things now? Right. Now this would have been hard, especially without the formulas on the front page. So my fault there. But the length of the arc AB, do you remember we did, it's the angle divided by 360 multiplied by, well, the arc length is part of the whole circumference. So the formula for the circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, do you remember seeing that one? hard one. Having not, we didn't do it a lot. So that means the arc length A to B is the length of this arc here. Yeah, you recognise that.
Yeah.
And the angle is the 110. So what we have is 110 over 360 times 2 times pi times r is 5.3. When we get the answer, we need to calculate that. So 110 divided by 360 equals that. Times 2 times pi times 5.3 10.8 10.18 or 10.2. So I would write 10.18 rounded to 10.2 in the answer. So always show a more accurate in your working out than only round your answer. Don't round it in your head and forget to write, just in case you do it wrong. Use trigonometry to calculate the length of chord CB. Now CB is this. We've already realised, I think most of you got that bit right. We've already realised that this triangle is a what type of triangle? Right angle, that's why we can use trigonometry. And we've got an angle of 35. So, what I would do is I'd do a little sketch. This is the one I want to know. This is angle 35. What else
Wait,
do I
is this
know?
the Sokoto thing?
That's 10.6.
Ah, gee.
Exactly, that's
No.
10.6. So, Sokotoa.
Sine.
Oh.
So that's the theta is 35. Opposite is question mark. Adjacent is don't know, don't care. Hypotenuse is 10.6. So it's sine. So sine of 35 equals, well, I'll call it x over 10.6. So we do 10.6 times the sine of 35. And you get the answer. Over to you.
6.1.
What is it before rounding?
0.7.
6.07. So yeah, 6.1. It's all right. Or 6.07 if it counts. What comes after the 7?
9.
Ah, 9. Okay, so it's actually 6.1 or 6.08. You have to round it correctly. Okay, it's not 6.07. So I was actually a bit funny. Those of you that did not spot the use trigonometry.
I
And then
mixed them
right-
up.
Yeah,
I thought that I mixed it up. I said, oh, pi flat.
yeah, I saw you.
Pythagoras is-
Yeah. You did trigonometry, yeah. You didn't quite get it right at the end, yeah. That's why I gave you 1 mark. So if you'd have done the pick the right thing, sign off, I could have given you a mark, guys. Alright. So, bearings. We have to just do a sketch. So, P walked 200 on a bearing of 30. That kind of looks something like that. Yeah. Bearing of 30. Then the length is 200 meters. Yeah. Okay with that? Then walk 80 meters on a bearing of 100 train. Now remember that you've got to go back to north, go 120.
Was that why you only gave me 1 mark? Because I didn't do that. Oh, Mr. Fox, that's mean.
That's got to be 123. And that is 80 meters. Okay.
You're doing different than mine.
That's why Well, not, I guess.
No, because I know I did triangle right.
Yeah, but you can't have 30 just for doing one thing. There's only 2 marks.
But I thought, oh,
You have to get the second bearing and stuff.
Why did I only get 1 right?
Because where you put the 120,
Where did I put that? It's on the
it
sheet.
should be up there. That's the bearing 120.
Yeah.
Actually, 100.
Yes, but you've not finished it off.
You got it on.
So the question then is,
Go 1 point.
for the second mark,
Yeah, sorry.
okay, we've got to show where, I think it's you've got to show the distances and things. Okay?
There's supposed to be a key like trigonometry.
No, because in the next bit it says use trigonometry.
Exactly, and I use Pythagoras, okay? It's not funny.
Okay? Right. This is quite tricky in that it says use trigonometry to calculate the bearing of P from so the bearing of P from the treasure, if that's the treasure there, so this is the treasure, we've got to find the bearing. Now the bearing is here. Now trigonometry immediately made me think, oh, it must be a right angled triangle. So I'm going to be using SOHCAHTOA. I've just got to figure out which one is the right angle. So I know if this angle is 30 because of angles in parallel lines,
It will be 90.
this angle would be 30. Okay. This angle I know is 60 because it's on a straight line. That means this is the 90-degree angle. I know that's quite a difficult one to think about, but that's the 90-degree angle. So then what I've got is my triangle. If that's my diagram again, this is the 90, that's 80. This is the angle I'm trying to find out, and this one is 200. So, which one am I going to use? So, theta, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, which one's which? Theta is what I want to know.
You want to find out hypotenuse?
I don't actually, I just want to know the angle. So, that side is the opposite, this side is the adjacent, hypotenuse I don't care. So, actually, I'm using tan. So tan theta is opposite over adjacent, so that's 80 over 200. So then theta is, and then doing this, tan to the minus 1 of 80 over 200.
I'm so dumb.
Difficult one. Now you're not dumb if you didn't quite get this one yet. This one you will get to know. It's at the end of the paper, it's hard.
And it's the one that we were acing class last time.
21.8.
Right, so here's the thing. So theta is 21.8, you think?
Yeah, that's the last.
But the bearing, the angle in the triangle is 21.8, but the bearing has to include that 30. So the bearing is actually 51.8, if that's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 51.8. Do you all understand that final point? I have to add the 30 on to get the bearing, because the bearing always comes from north. Make sense? Okay. Remember, this is all on the video. You can all go back and
Wait,
review it
Mr. Potts,
afterwards.
please
Yeah?
don't go away.
I think we need to, because we've got 5 minutes. You can go back and look at the video afterwards, Joe.
Okay.
Right, let's move on. Now, calculator, guys. Sketch the graph. We need to put it into our calculator. So, on our calculator, I'm going to put y equals, and we put in 0.1 x cubed plus 0.15. Feel free to do the zero as well. Show keen willingness. X squared minus 0.6x. Okay?
No.
Because it's
Just
that, yeah?
just fill in this whole thing.
It's just
That's all
this
you have to do.
draft.
Just fill
Just put in that there.
And the
Okay.
Y1.
in.
Why not?
That's what it did in the exam, but
Okay,
it didn't
right,
work
let's just
anything.
check another thing. Look at my settings. -4 to 4, both ways. So on my calculator, on window, put -4 to 4 for X, and then -4 to 4 on Y. And then when I draw it, I get exactly that on the screen. So then I can kind of divvy it up, spread it out, put little rough sketches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then all I have to do is copy what's on the calculator, so I know it crosses there, crosses in the middle, and it crosses just before this. So I would be going up, down.
It's this.
Where does it
I
cross
know, but
now?
it's X. How do you
Just
do it?
before that one.
You just put everything in.
So that's it. Alright? Yeah?
Oh my god.
Now the bit that we spent a lot of time on, what's the maximum, what's the minimum? Do you know on the graph where it is? Maximum, minimum. So we've just got to find them. You know how to do it like a calculator, yeah? Second, count,
No.
maximum,
No, I can't.
go towards the maximum, go to the left of it, it says. Enter. Go to the right of the maximum. Enter, enter. Tells me that it's at -2. So maximum -2. And what did it say? 1. -2, 1. And you do the same with the minimum.
You're actually smart. What's here?